Welcome back to day one of a super week here at the ESL Pro League. That's right, we're at the Intel Esports Arena, wondering who's going to be finding their way to Odense. And you know what's more important than that is, do they have any good peanut butter over there? That's the real question I've got to ask.
Chunky or creamy?
Well, that's the thing, like chunky or creamy. What would you prefer, James?
Is there such thing as bad peanut butter?
There isn't bad peanut butter, so to say. I know we have a connoisseur on site. Blue actually knows quite a bit about peanut butter.
I'm a connoisseur because I'm on a lifetime bulk.
Okay.
So add peanut butter to any meal, and it fits the goal.
Well, that a lifetime bulk is almost as an illusion as our next map. Mirage is what we'll be jumping into here between Rogue and the Renegades. Now, we did just go into overtime. Will that play an effect in here?
The Mirage illusion.
You just got it?
No, well, I had to wait till he stops talking. I just want to interrupt him. Make sure everyone else got it.
I think the fact that they went to overtime is going to hurt Rogue. I think that if Rogue had lost in more of like a, you know, just get like 16-8'd, I think they might have a better chance. I think that their morale is going to be low because they're like, oh, we're already going to get relegated.
Yes, it's just like that.
It's not a great mindset to be in, but I guess if you're not playing for first, don't play for last, you know?
And I've also heard through the airwaves that, you know, they don't really stay up too late to practice, so anything that would keep them on later might be like, oh, man, you know, like not too...
Hey, hit that one again. I like that one.
Maybe later.
Oh, okay, maybe another time. Either way, these are seemingly things that could play into a factor here in Mirage, and ultimately, Eric has his intellectual hands out. So, Eric, as we go into Mirage, are we going to see another even bout here, or is Renegades going to mop the floor?
I think Renegades are going to run away with this. I think last map was Rogue's opportunity to take one away from Renegades, but for Renegades, you know, they just played against one of the best teams, well, one of the best teams on the map in the world.
Well, yeah, but they haven't been playing well all year, so it doesn't really mean that much.
You know what? Whatever. I think they're still a great
Rinse and
team.
repeat narrative. Let's say it again. Bring it up. Everyone already knows it. It's funny because Rogue and Renegades, kind of the same word. Right? Yeah. It's kind of like the same effect. Maybe that means that they're going to go into overtime again. I don't know. You're going to have to tune in.
Maybe Steamer crash. Who knows?
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to fly these Betway odds in, all right? And then you guys are going to tell me what you think.
Oh, wow.
Very
It's the
surprising.
same number.
I know. Exact same number. I wonder if they use the same algorithm.
But it's on the different side because Rogue was on the other side of the screen earlier. So this is actually bears some consideration. I think the odds are pretty good.
I'm going to agree with it.
Wow. It's almost as if you guys are staring down the barrel of a long pipe.
I know. It's just something you don't ever want to. Something you don't never want to. Pray that you have a good, steady job.
Yeah. I mean, looking ultimately when it's right there in your face, it's just something that you kind of got to look out for.
Like getting relegated. It's like, just like you just can't really escape it.
It's a mess nonetheless.
Chases you
and
down.
I can tell you right now that the two that are going to be bringing you this action are Blue and Launders, who are more than idly sitting by at an attentive state.
Oh,
you guys are ready.
Mirage illusion.
Yeah, there we go. Check it out. Hey.
You got it. You got it.
You guys go ahead, and I'm going to go get some catering.
Thanks. We had some earlier, so I've already managed that. I think Stun was taking a nap when that was happening, so he missed that chance. But he'll have plenty of time now. As we're about to jump into Mirage, personally, I know, obviously, I said it in the first map, but I ended up being completely dead wrong. But I feel like this map is probably going to be a little bit more dominant for Renegades, considering this is like their map right here. This is the map that they always focus, and basically whenever they have the opportunity to, they tend to gravitate towards this map as their favorite.
Yeah, maybe we didn't factor in jet lag rounds or whatever.
Yeah.
We just didn't know what they would be, and it really just did. It seemed like Rogue were playing pretty well, like a lot better than expectations. So a lot of good to be said there. That was probably their opportunity to straight up win a map. Now it's going to be more of a long shot. They're playing a team that I think in the beginning of the season it was unclear exactly where they'd be. Renegades proved that they are going to be near the top 6, if not in the top 6, and have shown that they're like that first team outside of SK Liquid and Cloud9 that looked very, very solid for North America. So I think it's the most difficult Renegades that we've seen all season.
Yeah, and not only that too, but go back to the last map, right? And the key performers that are needed for them to really dominate on this map, in my opinion, were showing up in the previous map. We had Nifty doing some crazy work with the op on quite a few rounds. Like he had that not necessarily like a clutch, but he had that 1v4 that he managed to pull off outside of Playground. And Naf as well managed like nearly 40 kills on the previous map. So both of those showing up. Assuming that stays consistent, I see no reason as to why Renegades shouldn't be able to take this second map as well and in a clean fashion to try to push them forward further into the rankings and maintain a position within the top 6. For Rogue, it's definitely about proving themselves here, and they've done that. They did that pretty well in the last map. It's just now they have to keep it going on, not obviously what isn't their best map, according to their Twitter account.
Always trust those social media experts. Oh.
All right, well, Vice is going to sneak forward here and catch JKS, trying to flank him. Nifty, though, catches a trade as he peeks out the window in mid. That brings it back down to a more even bout here, but Rogue have made no movement, really. They're only just now starting to stack their guys up in the back B hulls for a possible play onto the B site, but I think Renegades read into this as well. They've already got 2 or 3 players positioned. I'm unsure if Azur's on Cat or if he's down below an underpass right now, but either way, those are going to be good positions to try and stop this with. However, Ustello gets blinded on the way in. There's good utility usage, so they're going to be able to blow right past him. We have the player on Cat's going to go down quickly. Naf will look to surprise, gets 1 headshot off, and now can't spot anything else. But when he does find a player, gets that second kill, tries to go for a number 3, but can't make it happen. At least with those frags, though, he's made it somewhat palatable for Nifty to attempt the clutches as the bomb hasn't even gone down yet.
Yeah, really taking their time, and the big flank is out. So Nifty, I think, crouching under a peak there, spots an opponent. Will the wide swing come out? It's planted for wow, man.
Wow.
Okay. They planted for halls, but they didn't have anyone halls. Maybe you. It's tough because even if Naf walks this far out, he sees the safe plant. It's not technically safe from this position. The other option would be a cat plant or something a little bit more unorthodox. Maybe they should have pushed. I don't know. That's tough. But you know, you want to be where you can plant for, right?
Yeah. Either way, pulls out the big clutch and saves the round for the Renegades there, which was some very nice play from Nifty, and that second headshot was smooth indeed. And now, pretty much just a quick rush through mid from Rogue to attempt to get control, and well, you can see the results before your eyes. Now, and if you can't, it's pretty much failed. 1 trade from Vice, and we can see Kane at the end there trying to go for a no-scope on the scout. Not going to find any connection, so Renegades shut it down, only losing Azur throughout the course of the round.
4 UMPs, or sorry, 3 UMPs, an MP9 into this one. No money will be invested. That round ended quite quick, and Renegades are gonna be happy about that because they won't have to reinvest. They won't have to upgrade at all, knowing that the next round will likely be a buy up. Bomb is actually. Did the bomb actually get planted on the first round? It didn't, did it?
No, it didn't. Yeah, that's right, because he denied it when it was getting planted. So it was close, but no cigar here. And for JKS, unfortunately, no cigar for him either, as he's going to get denied by Vice, who gets some work done, apparently with a Glock. So well done from him. At least makes the round a bit more costly for the Renegades, but still utter domination from them as they shut it down, only losing those 2 players. JKS and Naf will be forced to rebuy, but that does mean we're going to see a much earlier op being brought onto the board for the CTs instead of the usual bonus round that sometimes happens on the 4th round here.
Yeah, that gets a little sketchy from the 2VX, but Renegades close it out. Only lose a couple of players. Good damage dealt, but still, Renegades did a great job. Upgrade a couple of guns into this round, hang on to an MP9 and the UMP, and are kicking it off with forward A control. Have used a couple of grenades. This might actually work against the Renegades, but at the same time, they have a forward A setup, which is great versus executes.
They were pretty loud going up to the steps, too, so obviously Shinobi's going to be aware of this. I'm just unsure if he knew that Nifty had pushed into that right corner, as that's really the make or break spot for these offensive setups. The 2-man play, though, it's looking pretty good, but Shinobi just barely saving himself, as he has to do a double take to be able to properly spot Nifty and take him down, and you can see the amount of HP he loses as a result of that. But still, Rogue get the advantage at the start of the round. They don't have any pressure on top mid, though, so it is a little bit weird that we have this underpass crawl coming back in, since you're still going to have Azur sitting up on top of Cat trying to watch for these players. Oh, perfect timing on this nade, too, and then he just jumps right down. Didn't expect the second player, however, so we will see a trade from Hiko, but the actual A execute is going very, very poorly. Just 2 quick kills for the CTs. I think they expect the 3rd one to come out of here, and they've already seen Hiko going in through the connector, so they're aware of that presence. The bomb is actually going to dive away from A-ramp and try to make a quick change over to the B site. It's currently open, but I think the Renegades are starting to realize what is happening, and in a second here, Naf is going to race over there. He should be able to get there first and beat these Rogue members to the punch on that B site. Missed the Q on the jumps. That will let them into the site at least. Cadian tries to take up a position, but will lose the open gunfight. Hiko faring a little bit better as he picks up his first kill, but then looks away, and Naf will close out there. 4-0 for the Renegades as they take control of the first ground. A bit costly, so their money's not really going to grow anytime soon, but with Rogue onto an eco, they have another chance to correct that right now.
Yeah, and if you missed it, it was a pretty simple a false A exec, and the two players that threw their smokes decided to go back through B apps, avoid mid completely because you need some smokes and Molotovs to take top mid, and then just walk underpass so they can go into a connector split. And the initial smokes are just to bait out some nades in response. But Renegades, instead of actually committing past their forward A execute, sent one person off, assumed that the false exec meant it was going to be some type of B hit, and then walked Nifty right into the setup. So Nifty could have got that kill. I mean, I think it's good that he didn't because Rogue were more prepared for it than he was pushing. But either way, they still win and put Rogue back on a save. They spend some money into this round, but I think their only goal here will be trying to get a bomb plant.
And as they move in, JKS.
Oh my god.
All right. JKS is actually allowed to spin around and get that additional kill, and it seems surprising for whatever reason that they end up pushing inside of the connector, quickly getting that control. And what is this? Shinobi now pushes forward after killing the player in window and takes down Azur too. Yustill is going to bring and kind of restore the peace outside in mid. As the last two will attempt to push their way in through connector. Close bout between Nifty and Wrath, but Nifty will win it. And Hiko's been cornered, however, gets that first kill. Saw Nifty cross too, so he knows where he is. He's got the up. One shot's all he needs, but he misses as Nifty goes for a wide swing to trick him into taking that shot. And he'll end up winning the fight as a result of that, keeping Renegades on top.
Wow, Hiko's got to be so mad. That was, he just re-peeked the op. Yeah, I think he knew that Hiko had an op. There was a potential that he was going to hold for that. Hiko just straight up missed. I mean, you don't want to bank on a pro player missing an op shot, right? That's what you do in matchmaking. And he calls him out in the 1v1, and then Hiko misses it. So he's got to be salty about that. Naf would have looked, Naf or Nifty would have.
It was Nifty.
Nifty would have looked pretty bad if he got off by that, and he probably should have. So tough round to lose. It was an eco. It came close. It did four kills worth of damage. It's good. $20,000 off of the score, or off of the economy of Renegades, keeps them low, which is where they want them to be, and they have a bye moving into this round. So after all is said and done, it wasn't too bad overall.
Now Rogue are probably really happy with that as they prevent Renegades building up extra cash. They could still immediately break them by winning this round here. So Renegades just having to watch for that mid-connector pressure a little bit better, as that's what started the chaos there, and then have to slowly correct things later on in the round. Cadian, nice little peek here to try to make sure that he doesn't get immediately killed upon peeking this. However, he's missed the note on Azur being in the cubby. I'm not even sure if he saw him peek is going to be the other issue here. They're certainly going to expect aggressive pressure, but I don't know if they'll expect it this close. Let's see. Hiko.
Crosshair placement.
He's going to go for the peek. Azur pre-fires, however, just a little bit too early before Hiko peeks too much. That only brings him down to 78, and Hiko with the wide swing gets the trade. Actually knocks out Azur, and we'll get the initial kill for Rogue on this round.
Scary position for both players, and I think that it was very important that Hiko went out and got that fight. He had to pick a good time where he felt like he was going to go backwards or, catch him trying to hide or something like that, and he just waited long enough that that player got more and more nervous. So good opening frag. A couple of them, actually, as Wrath joins in to crush JKS looking for information at A ramp.
Nifty gonna get par. Oh! Cadian out of absolutely nowhere jumps up on top of the steps, takes out Nifty. Very well done. That pretty much kills any chance for the CTs to recover in this round. It's going to be a 2v5. He's still trying to take duels at Cat will not go very well, and Naf's position at Ticket is probably going to be very much expected, so I don't expect really anything to get done there. I'm actually surprised he's not already falling back for a save here, as the round is, for the most part, over. With Rogue getting some nice entries to be able to secure this round, and Cadian just knocks out another player there. Ticket takes down Naf, so it's only Yustill looking to save now.
It doesn't look like he'll be able to either. They have already made their way around to look for him. He's about to have his first target come into his face. Very low on HP. Not much to work with, and doesn't even get that first kill. So there's a round on the board for Rogue. Absolutely disgusting peek from Cadian. Really well done. The round could have changed up if he stayed alive in CT, got the opt down. Perfect stuff. Like, if he wasted any more time trying to readjust, didn't pre-aim properly, he would have got destroyed.
And like we've been popping up the story for in these past few rounds, Renegades never really built up any money at all due to how much damage Rogue were able to do on the ecos. So that is going to immediately put Renegades onto their own eco, despite winning the first 5 rounds straight. It's all deagles for them, no armor investment, a single flashbang, very light bot round. So they're going to have to try and upset here. want to stay ahead, otherwise Rogue will be able to bring it to 2 to 5. And oh, this will be a little bit awkward. He's still walking in, they didn't even realize it either. It's good news that he's only able to get 1 kill there, just ends up dinking the second as Hiko takes him down. And of course, they hit the other entry onto the site defender too, so it's going to leave just 3 alive on rotate, and they'll be smoked off pretty quickly to deny them of any intel or any angles with which they can hit some 1-taps here.
Huge fan of going B on these ecos. It works really well a lot of the times because you can stay grouped, you can go and explode. If teams look for information, you'll find that out early. And even though Ustillo had to panic, pull out the instructions to build that CZ really quickly before taking a fight and getting a kill, there's still a great opportunity for Rogue to trade. So that was the most important part in my mind. And they really shouldn't hang out to fight too much here. I mean, they want this kill for the extra money, but they risk losing $3,000 to $4,000. So Jake, yeah, is going to be happy to fight and runs away with just a deagle. Won't be able to recover a gun with the 1 player dead in an unreachable position. But Renegades still have a buyout.
Yep, just that 1 save was all they really needed, so they're going to be able to transition back into a buy pretty quickly because thankfully Nifty was the 1 player that did end up having a pretty decent amount of cash left over after they lost that first round. So they're back into the buy right after that save. And we'll see them at pretty much full strength too. The only real negative here is JKS downgrading to an ump in order to get full utility, but besides that, everyone should be at full strength. And we've got something a little bit different this time. Ustillo going to be trying to apply some pressure at top boxes, and this time Canadian is not ready for that shot at all. Azur immediately takes him down, and he still has a knife out. But this will follow through with a pretty quick execute out onto the B site, and Nifty, he's going to be behind the site, picks up the first kill, tries to swing into a second, but will miss out on that. Wrath takes him down, and that secures it for Rogue. However, it's going to be quite delicate, as he still has Shinobi out in mid. Meanwhile, pretty much everyone from the Renegades is already getting ready to retake from Market, so it's essentially like a 4v2 hold here until we can see Shinobi arrive from Cat. Vice holds strong, though, from the bench position as he picks up the first kill with a molly on the ground. That's going to deny any initial pressure from Renegades from boiling back out. Azur will take the window route instead. Gets through the smoke, finds Wrath in that corner, but he's given himself away here too easily. So we're going to see that first kill roll out from Wrath. And now it's just on Nath to try and clutch after Wrath gets the other kill. Nath, though, moves in, quickly knocks out Wrath, and looks for Vice, but Vice will win the final 1v1 and takes control of the round for Rogue with only 6 HP remaining.
Damn, that was truly close. But look at the money for Rogue. They have so much. They have so much left over after these past couple of rounds. Renegades saving 1 more time, clean anti-eco to follow up a close rifle round, and they still, after these rebuys, have between 2 and 6K apiece. So overall, really good opportunity here to come back, and it's looking a lot like the first map. We're seeing some mirrored results.
Nifty actually getting hit there by that initial nade, or the initial op shot, excuse me, and then the nade, so he tries to cross back to safety inside of jungle, and will be taken down in the process. So once again, Rogue starting it off well, Nav trying to kind of hide in plain sight there behind the trip stack, and the rest of the CT is trying to go for a quick flank, while JKS got 1 kill. It's actually going to be Azur. Okay, just moves out and sneaks into off the CZ. Still got another full magazine here to try and utilize too, but Cadian is trained on that angle with the op. He's going to miss, however. And that lets Azur move back out. The problem for Azur, though, is that even if he kills Cadian, he's going to be pushed by Vice on the other side, and Cadian, there you go. He'll finally get that kill. Very expensive, though, considering that was just the pistols, I think, invested in for the Renegades.
Definitely every frag matters, so yeah, we'll see this count, and we can see the bait here, that just waiting enough time that there are going to be eyes left on T-slope, and you can do this when you're on an eco round, just like you could do if you're by yourself. You should play for yourself, just to try to get the drop on a couple of players. Sometimes playing the trade isn't enough when you only have pistols. Is there going to be a flash out mid for Azur to peek this? It looks like a bad cat flash, however, and an opper. Oh, a couple of them. Nifty missing a very important and easy shot.
Seems like the team is still able to hold on to control very nicely, though just essentially leads to 1 or 2 trades since he misses that. And now they have full mid control. Vice is going to have to try to move back in, but he runs into a nade there. Smoke from the CTs is actually going to let him kind of... Oh, actually, hold on here. This is interesting. It's good that he finds this quickly. So he's going to throw out the bait flash to make it look like he's clearing further back towards Ticket, hoping that these CTs push forward since he does have this small angle to work off of. No one's taking the bait, though. So instead, he's going to work himself towards jungle, where he does not expect a player to be in the cubby, and that will be his death. A team ace this time for the Renegades, with Ustillo closing out.
They shut down the fast mid. Rogue throw it in there. They pepper it in, and it seems like they do like to do the changes of tempo, which is good. But I really feel like a lot of these fast rats don't end up working that well. I mean, it's not even that I feel like it. We've seen the results right there. Sometimes their slower rounds are pretty good, and maybe they just feel like they don't have enough tricks up their sleeve to get away with doing defaults over and over again. But that's all we can see from the outside. I'm not sure exactly what's going on in their camp. And wow,
Cadian's hitting some shots at ramp today.
Yeah, he did get tagged. It was through the wall, but that was very nice. Expecting the bench peek.
So he counters that back out. Will be at low HP. He's just going to be a little bit more careful for the rest of this round, but starts them off well. Gives them another 5v4 to play off of, and with Renegades being very spread out, odds are they can follow this through with a pretty smooth A execute. Biggest thing they're going to have to worry about probably will be JKS hiding out on top of the platform there, since they only have one Palace, or excuse me, no, they do have two Palace players. Oh, and they even find Nifty as well. More than likely, they would check this position, which they do. JKS doesn't even expect it. Wrath moves in, sees him hiding out there, won't get anything done. That's going to be an instant save call for Azar and Ustillo, as they just get completely outclassed on the A site.
There's no other way to describe it, really. That was absolutely clinical from Rogue to get out on A like that, and to follow up on the 5v4 that they gave themselves off of the back of Cadian's opening kill. So knowing that you have an opt-down is a good piece of information, realizing that, okay, there probably won't be one back in CT. And also, as they were mollied off from balcony, Wrath helping out his teammates, but moving quickly enough up ramp that, with the smoke still up, that he could clear stuff out for them. Two players up from the Renegades who are saving in a precarious spot. They won't necessarily, or I assume they won't be able to buy next round, but they might try to do it with 2 rifles left over. No, I don't think so. Not nearly enough loss.
It's not going to be enough to justify it. So.
Uh-oh.
Oh, maybe not.
Maybe anticipating a double save, so are going to spend their money.
And it's still not going to end up that great, really. Naf and Nifty.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's a bit better than I expected.
Yeah. Nifty buying the utility, it looks a little bit better. So, it's all right, I guess. They just have 2 players, and they're kind of looking a little bit weak there when you look at JKS and Naf down to the Scout. Specifically Naf, since he's been the big player for the team so far. It's a little bit surprising to see him go on to the Scout instead of someone else, but maybe he can do some work with it. JKS will get challenged first, ready to hold, but can only take down 1 player here. And now Naf tries to scout on the outside, but as you can see, the smoke setup has already been deployed for both teams here. And Cadian fires out a shot in mid, finds Azar there, and will continue to really just weaken out the hold over here on the A site. Rogue haven't even really had to commit just yet, but Renegades already seem to be kind of bowing down, backing up, and letting them in to go for the initial plant here. Naf, now that the smokes have cleared, is going to have a little bit of a better angle, specifically to try and stop anybody that would push out from the Palace, but also has to check for ramp here, too, and just not coming out on top of any hits, so he's going to be forced to fall back. Nifty didn't even look like he was given a chance to do anything at all, as he's instantly knocked out by Wrath, and I think, again, that's going to be the end of the round, with the 2 Renegades players falling back into market for a save here, tied up at 6-6.
Man, with these rounds being so close, you got to wonder, do Renegades think that they could actually lose Mirage? Another game where we anticipated that they'd win and win decisively?
I mean, I guess with Overpass, right? Because it's not a map you see Renegades play super often, that they might have had some weaknesses going into that map, but here on Mirage, I would have thought that they would have taken easy control, especially with a CT side start is the thing. So now the question is going to become, do they bounce back a little bit better on T side, or does this remain close like we saw back on Overpass? And I think that's probably the more likely of the 2 outcomes now. Yeah,
but they look pretty good too. I mean, Rogue look pretty good. They're getting the opening kills. Cadian is just on an individual basis performing at a really high level, able to pick Nifty, which not many operas ever, like, that he faces ever can do that, and that's been very important. And Vice is fragging the hell out, honestly. He's been doing a great job. So that's been a consistent performer here on the T side, and it's resulted in them trading back and forth, which I think favors Rogue quite a bit.
And we see Cadian quickly swinging back out. He spots the player jumping up a ticket, but it's going to be Wrath doing most of the early damage here. Has to do some headhunting on the spam, but it works out well for him. You still will trade from in Palace, but that's a very small gesture at this point. Need to do a bit more, which he will do. Unfortunately, still leaves an advantage for Rogue, however, as Cadian and Shinobi will mop up the last 2 players. Not only giving Rogue the lead here, but pushing them ahead quite nicely.
As we watch the replay, nice spray from Wrath, a couple of good headshots, good recoil control, not panicking, pulling down too much, and here it is. Rogue are slowly walking away with the half. It looks like it might be closed out quite soon. One of the last few rounds going to be very interesting to see what Renegades' adjustment is. They've tried close-up A-ramp strats over and over again, have gone 1-for-1 or just lost their players straight up a couple of times too early on. And I can see why they're trying to do it. Maybe they won't fall for a false exec this time and walk one person in instead of just taking control of it, assuming that someone's going to be there. There it is, Nifty also shutting down Palace, which is a big deal. I don't know if spotting Wrath's name tag gives them too much info, but at least they're 5v4 for the first time in a while.
Yeah, for the first time in a really long while here, too, because it's mainly been Rogue getting these early kills. If it helps, too, the NAF finds another pickup from inside of the connector. Had to take actually a pretty risky position in order to get that kill. You can judge from the blood splat on the wall right there. But worked out well, as apparently Rogue weren't paying attention to it. And that leads to the elimination of another T. And also, because they've had to go passive, it's going to let him, if he wants to, take a position in window room. Doesn't peek all the way out, but he does get inside the room with the potential to peek for it here in a few seconds. Meanwhile, Hiko slowly crawling in, but he's still going to lose the battle. Just so many lost individual 1v1s here on this round. And Rogue, unfortunately, might have to end up throwing it away. Cadian finally picks up one kill for the T side, and he still is a little bit hesitant on peeking back out for the trade. So I think he's missed his immediate chance for that.
This round's definitely looking like it's pretty much over. The bomb has been lost as Hiko died at A-ramp. There was nobody with him to help him take that bomb up. And I'm not sure if he lost a teammate that was with him early on. But again, 5v4 playing into it. There it is, 7-7. Trading rounds again. It's been a tumultuous half, though. If we look at the score line, it's been rounds back and forth.
Yeah, neither team has really held a pretty big advantage. A little bit streaky at the start, with Renegades starting off winning the first rounds up until we saw that second gun round, and then Rogue obviously managed to pick up in a culmination of 7 rounds with that one trade in there in between.
Yeah, actually, it does look like more of a comeback than anything else. I mean, Renegades had a pretty solid start. I didn't realize it was 5 rounds in a row, but thinking back to it, it looked like, oh, they were going to close out this map, and then Rogue came back hard.
Had the benefit of the pistol and the anti-ecos at least, so if the pistol had gone the other way, I imagine this half actually would have looked way different. Probably way more dominant for Rogue, to be completely honest here. Maybe a few more trade rounds from the Renegades, but we're going to go back to their aggressive tendencies. Cadian continues to hit hits in different spots. This time he's lurking towards B, and he gets the first kill there this time, and more entries just found all across the map. Wrath, perfect timing on his own push into the A side as he catches Nifty just leaping off the banister there to get further into the site, and Vice will close out. So they get one final round, and they're going to be the ones to take the lead this time at the end of the first half. It's still going to be close, still going to be 8-7, but we'll just have to wait and see who comes out on top, as we'll be starting the second half in just a few moments right here at the ESL Pro League.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
And so we are back with another surprising close map here between the Renegades and Rogue. It's 8-7. Once again, the same exact halftime scoreline as our previous map, just with the teams flipped. Rogue have the advantage this time around, and it's Renegades, unfortunately, that's going to have to come back on their T side of Mirage.
I actually think that the second half might be pretty good for the Renegades. I think that their T side, it's spotty versus some teams. It should be fairly good versus Rogue. I think Rogue will be put to the test here, and I think things have gone a little bit weird or a little bit awry on the first map, and even though it seemed like I don't know. It's such a weird first map where both teams did good and bad things, and we're kind of seeing the same pattern here. So thinking about that, I wonder how good their T side is going to be today. But I guess it's still I'm just so surprised. Like in this first half, Rogue were able to get away with first of all a pretty good comeback from a 5-0 deficit to coming back to pulling out the 8-7 half, right? Versus Renegades, and then they also doing it with throwing in a couple of different types of strategies as well as just some like really fast loose stuff that completely destroyed the Renegades. So.
And for whatever reason, really good entries coming out from Katie, and like time after time again too, especially around ramp. There was 3 to 4 rounds in a row, it seemed, where he was able to get the first kill and just constantly keep things at a 5v4 advantage for Rogue in many rounds throughout the course of that T half. So
yeah,
hopefully we see that continue now that he's going to be on CT side and should have even more freedom to use the op.
Yeah, I think they're going to be happy to have picked him up at this point.
Definitely so. Well, jumping back into it, the odds do look a little bit better for Rogue here now since they put a good scoreline up to the table, but only time will tell if they can keep it that way. The record so far looks good based on the results from Overpass, but Mirage is a bit of a different beast, especially now that they are on CT side. Their communication, I think, more than anything else, is really going to be tested here. And the quick push through the mid connector. Cadian spots it and dies behind a smoke. He's still being pursued, actually, so I'm a bit surprised. He's tries to go back inside of the crawl space there, but we see another series of trades continue. Rogue holding steady for right now, and with Vice fighting that kill, they pretty much have it secured. Justillo got through the crawl space. Does have a little bit of a mini flank line, but they're going to hear it coming, so it's shut down by Hiko, and Rogue will control their advantage to start off the second half as they push ahead 9-7.
Oof, that's crazy, man. They get the 9-7. They're going to have a couple of pretty, hopefully, clean anti-ecos, you would assume. They're going to be buying up. I don't know if they're going to buy so light to the point that we should be worried about them. Mirage is a tricky map because you're so spread out from your teammates. Every one kill can be huge, especially if there is an explosion towards a site, either A or B, just because of how long it is to get through CT to the other end. And, yeah, they picked up a couple of 4 rifles, so, you know, much less worried about them. And it seems like they're kind of playing retake on A, however. A lot of CTs have dedicated to B. They're going to be a little bit late. This bomb will almost certainly get planted.
That's just going to be a straight-up walk-in for the Renegades for the most part, especially with that smoke wall setup they did. There's not a lot of room for the CTs to abuse that. There is room, however, for these CTs to just hold their constant positions and knock these guys out one by one. In fact, now they might be able to deny the plant. Do they get it in time? Nope. The bomb will still end up going down onto the ground, unfortunately, and you still have a nifty even both pick up kills here. Probably be a bit of a short story, however, as he still pushes in for one last go at it. He does get that kill. He was attempting to find towards the end of his streak there, but Vice from on top of these steps will trade him back out and complete the round for Rogue as they now get into double digits here at 10-7, but a bit of an expensive one, so probably not going to be too happy with the outcome of that.
Yeah, it was expensive, and they had mostly upgraded rifles, so they at least recover the only 2 M4s that they had, and everyone would rather have an M4 over a Falmos, except for like Drone, but Drone's weird. And let's see, Cadian obviously won't be able to opt. They won't want to either. I think he's better off just finding a cheap SMG like this UMP, collecting as much money as possible. And knowing that Renegades will likely buy next round, though it looks like they spent some money here. It looks like Renegades are definitely relying on a plant, otherwise they might save again and half buy one more time.
So Renegades will be held back a little bit, and actually this apartments push could really make or break this round right here. Since they find the kill on Wrath that opens it up, Shinobi, however, is going to do a good job of using his teammate as bait a little bit to at least catch that trade kill, and now delay the hit to buy time for the A players to rotate over. Shinobi's going to very quickly get overwhelmed, but Vice can assist jumping out of the window. He grabs 2 players very quickly, and it's just a matter of cleanup from this point forward as Hiko and Shinobi will find those last 2 kills.
Yeah, great recovery. Rogue land right on their feet. Even though Wrath goes down without getting a frag, the B explode comes out immediately. Shinobi does a great job of delaying, jumping out of the window, and making sure that in that window of opportunity that he had between when they saw him shooted or shot and then clearly waited for their flashes to execute, that he got out of the window to safety and had the rotates come in. That made a very big difference, I think, in not giving up 2 rifles and an extra frag for Renegades to work off of. All factored in. Now Nifty here on the T side, we saw him be very strong as an opera on Mirage T side. Remember that day we saw him win duels versus Kusta? It was like he won the B apartments duel versus Kusta on T and CT side.
Yeah.
From the exact same angle.
It's look to once again. But Wrath was, where did he get that from? Was that a jumping shot? Or did he just spam from below? I'll have to see that later on. But
I think he's like Benjamin Button or something. Like he's 15, but he's had 45 years of experience.
yeah. So impressive stuff indeed. Hopefully we get that kill a little bit later on to show you guys. But Vice will find one more pickup. Azur, however, sneaking through underpass, trades back 2. Expected, however, to see him go down a moment later due to Cadian having the position established in window. So eventually it turns into a 2v3, and they get free A-site control, but it's going to be a little awkward here since either Naf or JKS forgot to grab the bomb onto the way into the site. So now Naf has to go all the way back to pick it up again. And in the meantime, Rogue have slowly crawled over towards this site, and they're going to be immediately ready to retake as soon as the bomb goes down. They obviously don't know it's gone into this site yet, but JKS is going to use the time well. Peeks out just when Shinobi was also peeking. Unfortunately, got caught tossing down a smoke, and Naf quickly dives to the side, at least gets out of the way of that ticket player, so again, buys the room he needs to go for the plant. What he doesn't realize, though, is that, yep, there is going to be a player at connector. Oh, they're just wasting time away at this point here. They should have killed him by now. Up on top of ticket, he spots that player, but he spots him too late. So Wrath will take him down, securing the round for Rogue, and continuing to grow this lead. They're now up 5 over Renegades' scoreline.
Yeah, it seemed like Nifty just wanted to do something individually that was relatively safe and got picked off early on. So Nifty has had a hard time, and that's definitely been a huge reason why Rogue have been able to take a lead. Right, we've seen him die both now on the T and CT side as the opening kill, and that result in a round conversion for the other team. Putting Renegades in a very tough spot. Insane 1D from Ustillo after coming off that flash.
Oh. Naf will get caught in midair, however, and now Wrath commits. Good spray control there, too, from behind the box. The nade goes in, but he gets the kill before the nade even lands. And yeah, with Vice pushing in, killing the player at underpass, stops any potential for some real trades here, and so no one's surprised, really, JKS is going to fall, attempting to push past that smoke. Another easy one for Rogue, and their money continues to blossom here at 13-7. One of the last gun rounds is going to be coming in now from the Renegades.
It's kind of crazy, no bomb plats to fall back on. This could be one of 2 of the final gun rounds in this game if Renegades don't do it right here. And then on top of that, Rogue have so much money to work with. Window smoke plus the top mid smoke to work with. Shinobi's going to be pushed off of window. 1 player in B, 2 close up A ramp, and it's unclear exactly what Renegades want to do, but they want to do it fast.
Could already see them lining up for a potential pinch onto A. A lot of players coming in from connector, though, but at the moment, Rogue don't have too much of a presence to watch out for that. In fact, they have 0 presence towards window. They've got 2 players underneath the platform, which is a little bit strange. Vice bails out one of their teammates for now, but they still have the issue, and these 2 guys are trapped here. If they put 1 well-placed molly underneath of that, that's going to instantly kill that setup. Wrath swings out, and I think they realize there's 2 underneath it here now, but they're even going to toss another molly up on top to prevent them from aggressing on that too heavily.
They're not going to know he's there. There's no way they think there's going to be a double underbalk.
I think they might know already.
Oh, they do not know.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Now they move in. Hiko surprises. I would have thought they would have seen the second player by now, but Hiko's been able to remain quiet this whole time. Tries to get out of there, though. And while he will go down, Shinobi and Cadian are immediately there to pick up the last 2 kills and secure what could be one of the final gun rounds for Rogue.
Well, that's not a setup you see every day.
Yeah, no, just for certain.
Double underbalk right out of spawn. It's underbalk is a great spot, but it's so often mollied that you wonder if that's very safe to do that. And Hiko patiently baited as his teammate fought, and boy, did his teammate fight hard. He really did sell that. He was the only person there.
Appropriately baiting this time as well, as it ends up surprising for sure to allow Rogue to pick up that round this time, though. Renegades try to aggress in middle again, and so far it hasn't been the biggest success. Besides bringing Vice down half HP, they've taken control, but they've had to lose Nifty. And Naf has also taken a whole lot of damage in order for them to achieve this much control. And also their utility is just completely gone, too.
They might be it seems like they're kind of frustrated. I mean, maybe that's simply looking at the score and the amount of rounds they lost, but they can't get anything going whatsoever. Rogue shutting them down left, right, and center. Azur with connector control will make a case for this execute. Even down in man, they've got pretty ideal split locations, but Rogue also understand what their threats are. However, there are 2 dedicated to B, 1 spotting and 1 on cat, which is a problem of not having mid control is Hiko in the same. Are they sharing
they're literally
corners right now?
And Hiko's going to be able to get that first kill. I'm not sure if he realized that he couldn't go all the way into the corner or not. Yeah, he's going to see it now. He'll notice it too late, but I mean, a 2-for-1 trade is perfect in this situation. This should also buy a little bit more time for the rotators to move back over, since Azur is going to certainly take his time clearing out towards jungle here. Shinobi tries to win in a battle, trading out here, but won't end up making it happen. There's a lot of patience from Rogue, however, on this retake, as they're going to let Shinobi wrap all the way around towards Cat. Try to push out from there so they could have a better position to get back into this site with, but they just need to start propping up for this soon. Even though it is a 2v3 and they have good utility to get back into the site with, they don't have the greatest amount of intelligence in terms of the post-plant positions. That was the easy kill. And now it's about finding where Azur is here. He's going to lock in one trade. His next target's only a one-shot here, too. All he needs to do is hit this one bullet. He gets it. And now just has to stop Wrath from defusing. He's well onto this, but Azur's going to be able to peek it out, hit the final headshot. And with a massive 4K, including the 1v3 at the end, he'll win the round. He will also die. But still, finally pieces together at least one more for the Renegades here. Yeah,
that's actually a beautiful round from the... I mean, they save off match point, but they also... That is absolutely the worst way to win a round when the other team has enough money to buy, because now... You know what? I'm surprised. Rogue don't actually have that much money left over, but Renegades have such an awful buy. Like, they have barely anything to work with. Rogue know that they're buying, but they're completely broke. I mean, Hiko's going to call this, obviously, and, I mean, yeah, we're looking at a Galil, a Scout, no nades, 2 Galils. This is tough sledding. I mean, this might be even a faster way to 16 rounds, an easier route to 16 rounds than if Renegades had lost that round.
So we'll see, however, as Rogue are still going to attempt to hold up with quite a bit of aggression, too, and they don't have full eyes on top mid, so Vice is just going to get lost right at the beginning. Cadian with a quick little re-peek there, just traded back out, and they even have another player going on a Cat, too, which go relatively unexpected, but no. Wrath misses that opening volley. Cadian tries to trade again, but he's been smoked out now, so there's very little vision. Shinobi, however, is going to flank through the underpass here.
Yeah, I think they might change it up because they hear the fast rotate through. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they heard him running through CT, and now they are deciding to go. Oh. Shinobi's going to know that that's Cat. That's big info.
Even spots one player. Again, oh, actually, no. Cadian comes in to assist, saves Shinobi's life, and both those kills are free due to Shinobi helping, or excuse me, due to Cadian helping out from the position inside of the A site. Naf could do some good damage here, especially if both of these players end up pushing from this direction. He has good trigger discipline to spot both of them before he fires off.
Or are they going to clear it, though, is the question.
Doesn't look like it, so spots the first player, and here's the second. Perfectly done. Nice little one-tap. Shinobi doesn't even realize that that happened yet, it seems, or it's just not paying attention to it now, as they're committed to this site retake, and they need his assistance. He'll spin around. Hiko will take down his opponent, but they did good damage to him, so he's able to push forward, and now it's another 1v1, but Naf just peeks right into it with the immediate op shot to close out. Very well done once again for the Renegades, and that's an ace from Naf as well. Very, very well done from him, as he single-handedly cleans up shop against Rogue.
Unbelievable. No better man to do it, and with the lurk to pull off from the ladder room. That was very prudent of him to stay in ladder room, and you wonder why they don't clear it, and it's because, well, you know, who in a 2vx situation like this is going to leave someone so far behind after just barely getting into B? You know, you would assume that they would need to clear it, but that's the play that they wanted and needed.
It's going to be a little bit chaotic here at mid as the CTs just push directly into it. They've traded evenly so far, actually. Kept it down to a 3v3. In the midst of this, though, they did have a player going in, taking full A control, so they're going to be pinched in a second. And they've dealt with the stragglers now, so just Cadian left alive with a USP, and he's pretty far detached from all this action. So it still is going to be a round for the Renegades as they go 10-14 here. 4 to go until the tie. 6 straight needed to win this in regulation still.
What a story if Renegades were actually able to pull this off of a 1v3, 2 1v3s and like a 1v3 ace.
Yeah.
That would be quite the storyline. I mean, they've still got a lot of rounds to prove that they can do it. And also, the only rounds that they have won on the T side come off the back of insane clutches, so it seems unlikely. It seems unlikely, Blue. It shouldn't happen. I'm holding my breath.
Well, we'll see here how much damage Cadian's going to be able to do to keep the money low for the Renegades. Moves in. Oh, made the mistake of jumping, though, and that's going to be his death pretty quickly. As Naf trades that out, brought him down to 2, but Renegades obviously will still come out on top there, and with that one full save, it looks like it was enough for Rogue to rebuy back into this, and they should be at relatively full strength, too.
Yeah, that is the benefit of losing a lot of rounds. As few benefits as they are, you know that the loss bonus is slowly racking up, so you only have to do one save at a time or half buy, or just don't spend all of your money at once. Now, they don't have any kits. After plan situations have been kind of an issue, but their priority is making sure that everybody has a smoke grenade to work with. Stopping the bomb from going down would also be an added benefit. Default for the Renegades as they come to clear out B halls. We'll see a jump spotter. I don't know if they're going to try to take his head off or not, but you still, though, just making sure that nobody can get line of sight of B off, so that no one will be willing to push it as they take the bomb back to A. In the meantime, they've also cleared out all the usual spots and are going, actually bringing the bomb over towards mid. Okay.
It's going to be A pitch.
All right. This makes more sense.
Actually, no, it won't be an A pinch. It'll just be a direct A. It looks like since they can't get solid top mid control, I think they know Cadian's got the position on Cat. They'll push away from that. His time is a little bit low here. I think they don't want to spend an extra 15, 20 seconds fighting against Cadian and then only leaving themselves 30 seconds or so for the actual execute. I want a little bit more time. That they're still only going to have like 30 seconds for this execute though, but perfect timing on that smoke.
Yeah, because they get the info at B. They've already pushed through, so now they know.
They're still waiting this out, too.
Yeah.
They're going to pop flash in just towards the end of it, but still, it's going to be going in blind 1-for-1 trade to start us off. Vice gets overwhelmed very quickly, though, and that lets the Renegades in. Hiko's still live underneath, and he's going to be able to only chain together one kill, but he did great damage to another player here, and Shinobi should be able to move in, immediately catches him. That brings us down to a 2v2. Shinobi trying to find more. He's got to be careful there, though. Doesn't have head armor, so we'll get punched a little bit as he's tagged out once, 51 HP. Continues to hunt. He's got to be careful going up on top, but oh, finds the angle, and somehow Naf didn't see him up there. That was a one way or not. Works out well for Shinobi. Now leaves only JKS alive, sitting behind Tripstack. They're a little bit hesitant on pushing him, though. He's been clutched before. Can we see another 1v2 situation here? As JKS just needs that last frag, and oh, realized it too late. As Cadian just walks right up to him, shuts him down. This will be a little bit close in the defuse. I think he has it. Let's wait and see here. Yeah, he's got it. So that's going to put them up to 15. Map point for Rogue. And we'll get to see if they can upset against Renegades here in a pretty massive fashion, if I'm being completely honest.
So this is just a PSA. I like how Renegades did a good job. They cleared out everything on the map. They held the rotates perfectly. They had the 3-2. They had two players on the A side at most. It's just pretty much what they wanted. They wanted, you know, ideally maybe one person on the A side, but they didn't want an overstack. They didn't want people in dedicated positions. They didn't want anything close A ramp or anything like that. And they did a great job clearing stuff out. But then after that, they took too long to hit A after making presence all over the place.
Hiko going to be trying to hold, and he lines up two players right behind each other. Trades are coming in very well for the Renegades, though. In fact, it went from, what was it, I believe, like around a 3v3 into a 1v3 in just a couple of seconds there, only leaving Shinobi alive. Shinobi doing some damage at range here, though. Brought Nifty down low. Azer's also very low here from in the earlier fights. Don't think he's going to be able to justify attempting the 1v3, however, as this info might have not been very readily available.
Wow. That should have been round over. Hiko gets the 2 kills at A ramp, very easy. A couple of frags as their first contact kills, and still his team all perish. I don't know how that all fell apart so quickly, but as I was saying on the previous round, like Renegades took the round out slowly. They cleared out everything. They held rotates in A, and when they came back to A, they took like 30 seconds to get out on the site. By that time, Rogue had already called out that there was no one pushing B, so they went and pushed it for information, which is exactly what you should do. But what are you waiting for? You know, when you get back to the A site, if you haven't made presence at mid since 15 seconds ago, no team's just going to assume that you're just sitting there. You know, they're gonna assume you're going to pick a site, and you can get someone off of your information. But once you leave that side of the map, you can't assume they're not going to call you out. You have to act quickly.
Nifty once again there too, saving the day with not only the trade onto Hiko, but the second entry inside. JKS immediately drops the rifle at the beginning of the round. They try to send Shinobi in there with it, and he'll be knocked out pretty quickly. Hiko at least recovered it, but JKS is still there to hold, but only for a limited time. Hiko kind of uses Vice's bait to be able to pick up that kill.
This bomb was in a very dangerous spot all of a sudden.
Yeah, Nifty's gonna slowly back away, just in case he gets pushed. I think he's safe, but can't be too careful. And I believe he still already has vision. Oh, he's going to go through mid?
Why? You have the bomb. Hello.
Well, the question is, does he still... Okay, he's going to drop the bomb back at least, but Justillo, I would hope, would have been able to see into B at this point, but I guess he hasn't pushed forward enough to see out window. Yeah, he's still back behind there, so he hasn't seen the B's open yet.
They're getting way too thinned out for this. I mean, it's 4-4, but why do we have a straggler and underpass at this moment? Just group for B. You have an op at mid, that's fine. He can stay there, make sure no one rotates through connector. They know there's at least a couple of people at 8. And another situation, and you know, here we don't have Rogue actually pushing, but they could.
I mean, they're really lucky Rogue were so adamant on this A-hole.
That's
if
just
they,
it.
Yeah, if they tried to check the other side or something like that, there's a pretty good chance they would have at least got a few more kills here. Probably not going to happen now. There's a chance of it to happen on exit, but...
Yeah, that's very lucky. Nifty even comes up cat by himself with the opt. You know, this is an opportunity for a frag from Rogue. But they were just intent that it was going to be a re-aggression towards A. And this is no fault by Rogue. They were just gamble stacking with a couple of rifles and pistols, but didn't invest anything.
Yeah, remember, this is essentially a full eco round for Rogue. They only started off with the one saved M4, and they picked up the AK later, so didn't really have that much to begin with here.
But for Renegades, they had a lot of holes in that. That was very dangerous. Bad.
Now, hopefully that won't come back to haunt them. If something like similar to that happens in a later round, as we definitely seem to have a bit of a game on our hands here. 15-12 is going to become the scoreline. Renegades need 3 more rounds straight. Take us to OT for a second time in a row. And if at any point Rogue wins one of these rounds, the game is over. For the first time, I think, in this entire series, though, we do have a pause, and I'm going to assume that that is coming from Rogue.
We did have attack pause last map.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Forgot about it, my bad.
I forgive you.
First time on this map, though. We have a pause.
Yeah. Rogue are going to be talking over strategies. 15-12. They've blown a couple of close rounds. It seems like they could have closed this out already. They definitely could have 2 1v1s in a row, as well as a round where Pico gets the 2 opening kills at A ramp on an A split, and yet it still ends up being a 3 for... Or Hiko gets the first 2 kills, and then everybody on his team dies. So
yeah.
However you say that in casting terms.
Just good trades from Nifty is what I think it turned into on that round.
Yeah, he got the better of the trades for sure.
So the pauses are pretty quick, guys. We're already back into the action here. Both teams actually, doesn't look like Rogue are going to buy up here.
Interestingly enough. So I guess maybe they were just talking about the economy for a second. So let's see. They would buy next round, and I guess they would have one more opportunity on the 30th.
The next round's buy should be really good, though, because they were sitting at like 3.5 on most players at the start of this round. And obviously, Katie and Hiko had extra cash since they already have the AK and the M4. If they move in, okay. Team kill, apparently, from Nifty. You're still walking in front of the op, but besides that, they clean up shop pretty nicely here and clear out the site. Neither of the rifles get dropped, but I think at this point they're going to call for those to be saved as the Renegade just waltz right in and get those 2 kills on B, and there's not much else to say about that, to be honest.
Yeah, this is a 100% save situation since they only need 1 round. They only have to worry about their economy. Renegade's economy is completely irrelevant, and they're going to have an AK, which they'll really want, and also it'll supplement the second buy that they get if they lose this next round. Oh, actually, yeah. So they could have 2 buys in a row, which is good. That's actually interesting. You don't really often see a situation like this. It's going to be 15-13. They're going to buy up, but they saved a couple of guns. They have a lot of money left over. And then they're going to have 1 more round loss where they'll have a ton of money left over to buy. So it's not going to be an easy road to 15 for Renegades.
No, it will not. Rogue will have these 2 chances to now really close out here. 2 good chances, I should say, to close out. And in will come the investments from them. Big buys should be across the table. No op just yet, but yeah, there we go. Hiko is going to pick that up and drop it over to Cadian. They'll still have that in the arsenal along with a little bit of excess cash on each of these players. Should be just enough to get a pretty decent force buy on the table for the 15th round if they end up, of course, losing this round here, and that becomes necessary. But to start it off, a rapid mid-control from 1 player here on the Renegades, and wow, they surprised Wrath in a big way. He's still caught with a nade in hand, couldn't even hear that. Cadian tries to trade him. I think he saw him go into the window room, but now again, a second player caught with a nade out here too. Oh my goodness, and Vice just walking into Justillo's crosshair. Apparently they didn't realize that he had jumped inside. Finally a trade from at least 1 player on Rogue here, but again, the round is over. They cannot do anything about this since there was such solid B control already established by the Aussies here, and they're just going to have to fall back and save, and Cadian even walks into back B halls where Azur is already waiting to stop this position from being attained.
Wow, what happened? Renegades took fast mid. They got the opening kill. They moved so quickly, Cadian couldn't even trade as that one player gets in the window. That player, Azza, ends up getting another kill, of course. And at the same time, they push in a B. They're catching players with nades out, just moving at such a high tempo. And it seemed like Rogue tried to ice the kicker a little bit with that tack pause, as well as talk about what they needed to do for themselves. But Renegades responded with the most amount of aggression that you could. I mean, their test levels are at an all-time high.
And even Hiko could end up dying here. In fact, he does due to the push coming out from Palace. Azur's going to catch him just before he can get over towards the ramp. No saves at all, and that means we probably need to see another pause from them since this buy all of a sudden does not look that great. Cadian's going to be able to rebuy the ops. They at least have that, and we should see at least 1 to 2 M4 buys, but there's going to be a large possibility that we have players downgrading to umps or having to choose to go with no utility if they decide on buying up FAMASas or whatever here in this round.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's going to be the story of this match for Rogue if they lost it. And what a tough loss that would be. Points aside, just the map in itself it's pretty demoralizing, I think, to know that you could have closed out, lost to 2 1v3s in a row, lost to an ace, a huge individual play, versus a team that's kind of shaky right now. And maybe they shouldn't have got as far as they did, but at a certain point, it was over. They had this, and they could it's very viable right now for Renegades to think about OT.
They started 15-7, if I recall correctly. 15-7 or 15-9 for Rogue, if my memory serves me properly, at its worst point for the Renegades, and they've been able to bring it all the way back now to round number 30, where Rogue must close out here, or we will indeed end up in overtime again.
Let's see what the Renegades do. On a slower pace round. Oh wow.
Maze's allowed to do this.
Why are they doing it? Why is he doing this exactly? Oh, that's a really good kill. I was wondering why, if they're going for top mid control like that, why are they just leaving it alone instead of camping top boxes? I guess Nifty would have been waiting for it, and they called that the default. So potentially just a read on the setup. Seemed scary for Cadian with the op.
I'm amazed he was allowed to do that, given how rapidly we've seen mid-control taken by Renegades on some of these past rounds. So, a bit of a ballsy move from Cadian, but it pays off.
There it is, the double push into upper. Our number 2 man, Cadian, should not be at B anymore.
He's leaving Hiko to dry right now is the thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for him to be here if they have all this B control. The rotates are going to come out. Fast flank will eventually... They're going to be in rotator spots. Someone needs to get into jungle.
They're not going to be there in time. This is going to have to be retake potential, as Renegades should be able to just walk into the site. Molly's going to keep them from going back to Firebox, but T's have smokes to block off Ticket now. So easy plant for Renegades, as there's no defensive setup attained in time for Rogue. And Rogue are really heavy towards Ticket here too. 3 players going to push back in. You do have a flank coming in from Wrath, however. Wrath is really going to be the make or break play in this round here. Oh, and no, Nifty seems to be watching for that, seems to be paying attention to it. JKS is actually the one that saves the day, not Nifty, that holds on there. And now, with him dead, it's all just a straightforward retake in an even 4v4. He still is going to hold on in his own regard to take down Shinobi. It's all Renegades right now, not a single trade kill except for the one from Hiko, but he's alone in a 1v3 with basically 0 time to defuse this bomb. And with Renegades closing out, they'll tie us up once again at 15-all, sending us into OT for a second map in a row.
That's really rough. Wrath here in the best position to big flank. It's funny because I think the flash turned them around, even though I think it was supposed to support them, and maybe it wasn't timed properly enough because nobody was blind as he peeked. If there was, it would have been a great opportunity for him to get the kill, but Rogue had everything in the world going for them there. They got the info just on time, but for some reason, Cadian was still in market when they had that info and the double push. They had basically 3 players dedicated to B with Cadian in market. I'm not even sure what he was watching, and then Hiko by himself at A when they knew it was A. So they could have had 2, like, in the site. They could have had Cadian and CT. They could have had a rotator come in and a big flank, and they could have traded out before having to go into the after plant. Because I don't know about you, but it really didn't seem like they were going to win the retake.
No, it didn't seem like it either. So now we have to go into overtime. Once again, same rules as before, guys. If you weren't with us, it's MR3 16K start, and we just go to another all-out brawl, and this is probably very discouraging for Rogue, considering the advantage that they started off with. And Yeah, we can see that too. The auto sniper is going to be bought up from Rogue right at the start, probably used to hold off against a straightforward apartments push if we would see that. However, don't think it'll be the case. This auto may end up being completely useless if he doesn't rotate in time. Cadian, once again, getting that first kill in mid, however, starts us off well for Rogue. Brings it down to a 5v4 as he anticipates additional pressure to come out from the Palace. They've got the right idea about it this time, and they're actually in appropriate position, so this looks really good for Rogue right now.
Rogue just suddenly win a CT round.
yeah. The one round they needed after, like, how many was that, like 7 or 8 straight from Renegades to come back? Well, don't want to call it too early here, but they're looking good so far, especially with these cat positions, or excuse me, the connector positions that still need to be pushed. Nifty coming back, trying to hit that shot, but nope, he's going to miss it. Oh, the quick scope in on Device's head takes him down. The problem is they're really low, however, so it's still going to be tough to hold on here. Nifty now the Lone Ranger, but Cadian will knock him out. And that finally secures another round for Rogue as they come ahead in OT 16-15 to start it off.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the round they were looking for. Where was that in regulation? In regulation, you wonder. Maybe they didn't really see like a straight up A execute from Renegades like that. And I guess this Renegades trying to come out of left field with something that's brand new. That didn't end up working so well, and I guess they should probably thank themselves for not trying that earlier on, if we want to look at it from their perspective. A ramp push. It's a default this out. JKS spots an opponent, but falls back. Won't take that fight, and Rogue won't try to bite off more than they can chew. But they have forfeited control of a lot of things right now. Mid's gone. They don't have anyone pushed on Cat. They don't have anyone watching window. This is wide open to a push, so this passive setup is not so great. And Vice is, I think, coming to pick it up finally.
Renegades still deploying very slowly into mid here to make sure they don't make any mistakes and give Rogue access to these early kills like what happened in the last round, where we saw Cadian able to just rush out through connector and pick one up real quickly. Not going to be happening this time as Renegades take their time to clear this out, properly smoke it as well, and now they've got other players right at the gates of B, ready to go in one fell swoop to take this. But the CTs also have somewhat decent positions established here. Their track record isn't that great though, and it seems like at the moment it's going to be holding true. JKS, interestingly, kills Azar there, but still cleans up afterwards. So technically gives no kills to the CTs, and again, while there's a large chance Cadian and Hiko will attempt this clutch, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Hiko a little bit late to the party for some reason, after seeing the bomb go down so long ago. But that's a Kobe.
I guess kind of keeps him safe for now. Well, that would be an impressive flank if they could get to there in time. I guess more so to hold off a lurker.
Oh my god, go for the defuse.
No, that would have been amazing if he could, but...
Yeah.
At least he's going to be able to hold in window here, and I think he'll be safe. No one can get to him in time after he gets that kill on NAF, so keeps the rifle in check. Not that it's a huge deal that he saves it, but yeah, just some nice kills at the end of the round, pretty much.
Where does... Is that what...
I think that was the team code right there.
No,
oh, no, that was a different player's perspective, that's right.
Easy entries on a B. 1-1 in the first round of OT would be a startling, deeply saddening loss for Rogue here after having such a good start to everything.
Ooh, Cadian not in the best position here too. Has to quickly smoke himself off. Vice is going to come in to bail him out though. He takes down Ustillo. Nav kind of lost, but finds his position and recovers nicely in the duel to take down Vice there. So it brings us down to a 4v4, but Renegades have taken a lot of damage here, so they're going to want to be careful about the way that they proceed from this point, especially when you look at the positions from Rogue. They've got a heavy pinch ready to just crush any mid-push if Renegades don't watch all their angles here.
And after all the needs have settled at mid, they're hanging out a bit. JKS, though, has infiltrated. Oh.
When push comes to shove, however, he's not ready for the challenge. Hiko is going to take him down. That again holds strong for Rogue here. Wrath waiting for his own time to strike, but he gets overwhelmed. So another very slow trade works its way out for the Renegades. Renegades are gaining like 0 map control here, though, and this will ultimately become their problem, as now they're out of utility. They only have flashbangs from this point forward. And And yeah, Shinobi's going to be patiently waiting inside of this ladder room, picks the first kill, will back up. It's going to make Nifty push him. And yeah, that's very close range for the op battle, so not too surprising that we see Shinobi picking up the second kill. Naf will finally get the trade, but now he's only got 20 seconds left. He still has to wrap up here to pick up the bomb, make his way into his site. So trying to make it like he's going through the crawl space into A, so that should split up the remaining players 1-1 and give him free passage through Cat at least. He's still going to have to try and find Hiko on the sites and leave enough time to plant. Looks like he's just going to go for the ladder objective first and realize at the last second that Hiko is hiding out at Van, which will give that final round of the half to Rogue.
Yeah, they just go dry at mid, as you mentioned, and that's because Rogue did a good job of delaying them, fighting them as long as possible to keep control of what can be sometimes the most important part of the map. And Rogue actually win 2 out of 3 rounds in OT, somehow, some way. Second half, they'll get the T side. It's hard to say which side either of these teams really want. It was a massive comeback on both sides. For Rogue here, they had a fairly mixed bag on T side, but it seemed like they trended upwards towards the end of the half. So maybe we see the potential for even more destruction in OT.
And obviously with them having the advantage here, they have the higher chance of closing out in this first OT. Remember, 19 is the magic number to win. And Cadian once again right back to hitting those shots against Nifty inside of the apartments. Oh, even at the angle on Azur too. I think he moved a little bit, so it made him miss the shot. He even almost catches Naf here too. Timing of it. If he'd gone in just a second or two earlier there, would have been able to catch him peeking it. So we'll decide not to push that right now. The rest of his team is pretty much lined up for a very straightforward hit onto the A site. And the defense from Renegades is not set up too particularly well over there right now. They're definitely thinking it's going to go B. They've just rotated 2 additional players into market. So you only have JKS here to hold. On trip stack too, which is a very volatile position to play from here. So more than likely he's looking at 1 trade and then dying afterwards. And like I said before, none of those rotates from the A site are on their way back. They will start working their way over here now. The smoke's being deployed onto the site. But JKS is going to get a bit creative here, moves off the trip stack position, wants to punish the Palace player, and is keeping himself quiet to buy time for these rotates so he can help them when they arrive. The problem is, though, is that Rogue are also managing that. They've taken down Azur, they've taken down Hiko. JKS is still alive underneath of the underpass position here, but, or excuse me, underneath the balcony position here, but still, when it's time to strike, there we go, there's a surprise. Now he jumps back out, gets the first kill, looking for the player in Palace, but will lose after that, and only Naf stands from Ticket, which will also be managed by Wrath, giving the round to Rogue and putting them up to map point here.
Hey, well done by Rogue. I'm not sure exactly what the sell was for Renegades to have 3 players be in that situation. Maybe it was Katie getting the opening pick. That was just the final sell for them. They figure, all right, they got that kill there. They're probably going to wait a bit of time and just re-exec on B, and Renegades without information or like, let's gamble on this. But Rogue going back to A was definitely the good call. There was only JKS, and as you mentioned, very volatile location where he has to frag or lose. And that is another duel won by Cadian. Like, actually a stellar performance.
It's another one. It's another one right at the opening of the round too. I would love to see how many opening kills Cadian has got just in this map alone, because he definitely has to be at the top of the scoreboard for it.
And just to be not only winning those duels, but picking the right spots every single time that that Nifty's going to be in is very important for him on the T side. It's difficult.
It's never just one single spot where he's getting these kills. Now we do see Nap moving out with the op 2 to find 1 trade, and he gets a second. And just like that, all of a sudden, the advantage that we see Cadian getting for his team is gone, down by the wayside. The T's will still be able to jump into B and get control at least, so they'll be looking at a plan here. Azur low too. Oh, Hiko is going to be able to hear this, boost up, so he finds that quick kill against Nap. Knows that Azur is the one that boosted him up, so he's going to molly him out, and that might just kill him in itself. No, actually, doesn't expect him to push outright, so it's up to Wrath to trade this and close out on the last player. Can he do it? This will be the question as the nade goes over towards window. That'll be a complete miss, but at least gives him some time to fall back into a new position to play off of. JKS will push out, and with that shot that reveals his position, Wrath knows where he's going to be pushing from, just lines up the angle for both instead and spams into it to close out as Wrath pulls off the 1v2 and completes the upset. Rogue are going to take control of map number 2 here in overtime. And with that, these teams will go 1-1 for the evening.
Oh, that's a big loss for Renegades. I mean, it would have been terrible